And then I left prison. There was a guy that I was in jail with. His name's Adolph Calhoun. First of all, Adolph's not a good name, and if you're an African American named Adolph, his parents didn't like him. I don't know. You
Mhm.
never call and I would harass him about his name all the time. But Adolph, or Hooney as we called him, I took my home plan and I threw it in the trash. He pulled it out, filled it out, and sent it in the mail for me. I resigned myself to spend the next 2.5 years no, next 5 years in prison, because I did 5 years, and they were gonna parole me, and I wasn't getting any place that would let me out. I wasn't finding a place to go to, and I had given up. And so when the application for this one place came in, I threw it in the trash. Well, he went over, filled it out, and sent it for me,
Mm.
and I got paroled to Chambersburg. And I was in a place called Second Chance Ministries, and it wasn't very good. And I would walk on Sundays from where I was to Pastor Andy's church, and I would pass the Chambersburg Christian Fellowship. And after a couple times, I just looked over and I seen veilings going into the church, and I peeked my head in and looked. I knew what veilings were, and I walked in, and after a period of time, Clyde Lehman said to me, "You can stay for a whole service."
So you would, like, duck in for a little and then just leave?
Half an hour, go in,
Yeah.
listen, because I was going up the street to my church.
Mhm.
And Clyde said, "You can stay for a whole service." It had been a long time since anybody invited me anywhere, let alone to say, "You can come back." So it was the love that he displayed. It wasn't the theology, wasn't the doctrine. It was a plain, simple love of feeling included in those 2 points I talked about. Everybody needs community and everybody needs connectivity.
Mm.
And by him inviting me back, he offered those 2 things to me. And there was a time where Pastor Andy, who was connected to Second Chance Ministry, he said to me, "You have to choose. It's either me or those people." In this little room that I started called The Room. And I said, "It's a very easy choice. Let me get your books. I'll put them in your truck for you." But I literally had to make a choice between a Protestant church and an Anabaptist church. And I made that because of those 2 points: community and connectivity. I was lacking that. I needed that. I wasn't looking to discuss doctrine. I didn't even know what it was. And theology, what's theology? I had this simple, childlike faith. Jesus said to do it. Okay, let's do it. And there was no shame in that. I didn't need anything more. I've been in since I've been around the churches, I've learned it's a lot more than that, but initially, I just needed milk, and they were feeding me gently. Well, I got a little bit of full of myself, and I started pushing people, and I created a problem, and I had to flee Chambersburg, go to the desert, hear God's voice, to come back, a different version of who I was.